an incarcerated individual at Mission Creek Correction Center. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hey, what's up?
Good morning.
Good morning.
You got everything in order?
Yep, I'm ready for you.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Salina J. I also commonly go by CC Marie or just CC or Marie, depending on how long you've known me for or where you have met me and what season of life you met me in. I am currently 32 years old. I am incarcerated at Mission Creek Correctional Facility for women. I've been here for about a total of 15 months. I am currently working on a sentence of 102 months. Thank the Lord that there's such a thing as good time, because I will be coming over way sooner than that. But yeah, I'm really grateful for this opportunity to be able to, have this session and be on the podcast. I would like to give a shout out to, my family and most importantly to God for giving me another chance to live life,
Right.
No matter what situation we may be addressed with in life, we have a choice. And so this time around, I am choosing to be productive. I'm choosing to be positive, no matter what's thrown my way, especially during this time of, I'm just going to put it out there, sitting my ass down. I lived a very fast and busy lifestyle before. And when I say busy, there's a difference between being busy and staying positively productive. Being busy, I feel like a lot of people, and including myself, speaking from experience, we try to fill our schedules in with whatever just to make sure that we're doing something. But to take the time to think about if there's substance to what we're doing and if it's productive is a whole different, aspect and mind frame. You really have to think about, am I just doing this to do this, or is my future going to benefit from this? Is it going to, make me happy? Is it going to, project that light onto others so that maybe they can follow in your footsteps, or you just set a good example, or, just hold yourself to a higher stature than you were before, I should say. But, so I don't know what you want to dive right into, but
okay. Let's start with what led you into getting locked up.
So back in 2021, I had been in a car accident, and I was charged with vehicular homicide. In parentheses, DUI. I was in a on and off, very toxic relationship with a individual, and for legal purposes and whatnot, I'm not going to mention specific names, but anybody who is willing to reach out or whatever, and maybe go into a little bit more depth, by all means. I was in a very toxic relationship with a male, and it was fully based off of, drinking and lust, I would say. It wasn't very much of a connection. It was just kind of like the convenience. You're here, I'm here, we're drinking, whatever the case may be. And it was a habitual cycle that I don't think either one of us was trying to break, to be honest with you.
Right.
And like I said before, when two broken people are trying to come to a situation and fix either the other person, or they're not well equipped with the tools that maybe are needed in that season of life, it's very hard, and it can cause even more damage than good. And at that point in time, that's what was happening. And so it was kind of just a normal thing. It was, common for us to drink together, hang out. We would kind of live our own lives as far as working or whatever. And then when we came together, it was shot o'clock, don't play. And it always led into something that was very, not necessarily vicious, but it was like, I don't know how to put it except that we probably didn't even really get to know who we really were or each other because of that, that barrier of drinking. I know that, and now I can firmly say that before I would drink, and I also was motivated and pushed as far as fear goes. Like, that was one of the biggest things that I ran off of when I was younger. Like, this person might not like this or whatever, so not only am I going to satisfy them, but I'm also going to get the satisfaction as far as satisfying other people, or, maybe I don't necessarily want to work this job, but, in fear that I might not be able to sustain for my family, or, provide for myself, or whatever the case may be. I ran off of fear, and it kind of drove me and pushed me through those years. And on top of that, adding alcohol, it kind of played as a buffer. And, they're not lying. It does know a name of liquid courage. And so in that time in my life, it was like, it kind of helped out as a buffer, and we just kind of did our own thing. And when we came together, things were good for a quick minute, and then it turned sour. And then, the next day you recover, you get back to life, and the vicious cycle goes on.
Right.
And we went back and forth for about 2.5 years. There was emotional abuse, there was physical, verbal, mental, and I can admit that it was on both sides. Whether it was heavy on one side or another, whatever, it was still going on, and it's really hard to build a actual relationship on those things. It seems to crumble. It's like building a house on sand.
Right.
It's only going to last for so long, and it might look nice, but let me tell you, there's no foundation there, and when shit hits the fan, what are you going to do?
Right.
And so, leading up to that night, there had been a lot of rocky things going on, and it was kind of like I said, two broken people trying to save each other, and it's not going to work. And every time that we would get back together or try to rekindle things, it was always the common, let's go have a drink, let's talk over having a drink, and then the talking became yelling and screaming and fighting. So that night, leading up to that, we had tried to rekindle things again, and we had decided that we were not going to spend time behind closed doors just for the sake of both of us. It's getting to the point where it's like, how much more broken can you get? So
right.
Just to make it look good and maybe seem a little bit safer on both ends, we kind of decided we were going to go out in public and spend some time, maybe chop it up. That way, neither of us were tempted to even reach that point. Well, I had picked him up in, I would say, the late evening. We decided that we would go to one of our regular spots. We went and had a drink, and, talked about a few things, and then we ended up leaving that spot and going to another place, and going and have another drink. And I can firmly admit now that I am a functioning addict, and that a functioning addict and a functioning alcoholic, which at the time, like I said, it was normal. Like, you bounce from place to place, you have a couple drinks, chop it up, do what you do, pool tabs, play pool, whatever. Well, it was a normal for us to, get tipsy or whatever, and then end up going back home. And we were really trying to avoid that at that point. Well, this was in 2021, and COVID was still going about. So all the places were closing around midnight. And so we were like, okay, you know what, we're going to leave. And he wanted to go get a bottle. Fine, whatever, cool. We're going to the store, we go, and things just kind of start turning left field.
Right.
He had gotten out of the car. There was some yelling going on. There was some people outside of the front of the store. I'm thinking, like, what the hell is going on? I get out, try to kind of calm down the situation. He ends up making it into the store, gets a bottle. I'm telling the guy, like, we really don't need it. And he was like, oh, you know, whatever, da da da. Old boy's telling me to go back to the car. I'm just trying to, you know, be. At that point, I was really a people pleaser, and I fully can admit that, because I'm like, okay, whatever makes things easier, whatever makes it easier. But the thing is those shortcuts don't necessarily make it better. Easier and better are two different things. Let me tell you, especially when you're looking at the full aspect of life.
Right.
So he gets the bottle or whatever, we get in the car. I'm still trying to, you know, like, play cool, whatever. Well, there was a argument that had happened, and there was some assumptions that had been made that I knew those people outside of the store, that, you know, I'm a salty bitch, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm like, what is going on? Now, let me tell you, there can be two functioning alcoholics together, but everybody's different, you know what I'm saying? Like, they literally say scientifically, alcohol can affect one person with a body mass of this, or, depending on the function of your organs, or whatever, even your mentality. If an individual has used, you know, a specific kind of drug all their life, some of that, that mind and brain health has withered away, or it doesn't react, in the chemical imbalance is just crucial, and we're all different. So at that point, I'm thinking, like, what the hell are you talking about? He's crazy. He's thinking I'm crazy. We're arguing all these things, and he puts his hands on me, and I'm like, okay, like, this, I'm tired of this. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
And something's got to give.
Right.
So here I am, still pushing it. We're driving. I'm like, okay, let me just try to talk him down, whatever. Okay, well, first of all, those first couple of years of talking it down and trying to be the buffer never worked. And it was, like I said, a vicious cycle that it was very unhealthy. But the fact of a human admitting that they're wrong and that they're unhealthy and need to change and better themselves, you know, it takes some strength, and it takes some experience, and it takes some humility. And at that point, that's not where I was at. It was like, I'm not going to be shown as being weak. I'm just going to try to save this situation, whatever the case may be. So we're riding along, and after he put his hand on me the first time, I'm like, okay, you know, like, what are we doing? What are we really doing? Because I'm tired, and at this point, he seems a little tired too. I mean, not maybe physically at that point, but it's like we keep going with this vicious cycle. Well, there had been some other conversations in the car. We had pulled up to a spot near his daughter's place. There was a lot of bashing. There was a lot of just tearing each other down to size, and it was it's just like, it was almost like it's done. It's done. Like, there's no connection there. We're literally going tit for tat. What is this about?
Right.
And so we end up, at that point, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's go home. Like, I'll take you home. I'll go home. Whatever the case may be, we need to get the hell out of this car. We need to get the hell out of this situation. So when we get there, when we get to going on our way, there was a comment made to me from him, in regards of, like, okay, well, at least we can fuck, you know, like, are we going to go to your place? And I'm thinking, like, hell no, I'm tired. Like, this is it. I'm done.
Right.
And I don't want to do this no more. He had gotten really upset, and because of that, we surely back at it. Like, one moment there's peace, maybe a little bit of understanding, and then boom, it's ongoing. And so as I'm going up the hill and we're fighting and arguing, and he's grabbing at me and slapping and all these things, and I'm pushing and pushing back and, you know, screaming and all these things, I end up swerving off the road, and I hit a fire extinguisher. Now, for the longest time, I thought that was the major impact. So I get knocked out. I'm not quite sure when he got knocked out, but the impact from that had knocked me out. Well, a little bit farther, maybe I want to say like 10, 15 feet, and I'm just going off of the pictures and what the state, or not the state, but the city had measured out and whatnot.
Right.
Is that there was this little hill, or kind of like a divot, and it came up to a raised railroad track. Well, there was a stationary train car there, which I had continued to collide in it, and it literally, I mean, the pictures afterwards and seeing the pictures, I'm like, what the hell? Like, the paint, the exterior was just stripped of the car. It was just, it's a miracle that any of it was intact, to be honest with you. So,
right.
I wake up from the impact, and I'm thinking, like, oh my gosh, what the hell happened? And the dash is literally sitting in my lap. I'm pinned in there. I'm looking over at him. He's knocked the hell out, and he's kind of just cradled in the foot compartment of my car. I'm knocked out, unresponsive, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? I'm pinned in here. It's in the middle of the night. It was probably about, I want to say, like 2:45 when I had either woke up or when it had happened. But around that time, I'm like, what the hell do I do? I'm bleeding from my head. Like I said, the dash was smashed in. The windshield is like practically kissing me in the face.
Wow.
There's shattered glass, airbags, all these things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what the hell? So I start screaming for help. Because what else am I going to do? Now, mind you, this is kind of like on a back industrial road. And that's all that I had at that point was my consciousness and my voice. And so I'm screaming for help. I'm screaming. And this tow truck happens to be going on its last route to return back to whatever destination, and it sees my car on the wrong side of the road, facing the opposite direction.
Wow.
And he stops, and he gets out, and he hears me screaming.
Right.
Well, he comes over, and so like I said, the ceiling and the windshield had been crushed in, so he is literally looking through the ceiling and looking at me, and he didn't even realize there was another person in the car. He's like, whoa, like, what's going on? Are you okay? Like, calm down. And I'm like, don't worry about me. I have somebody else here. Like, call for help. Call whoever you need to. Paramedic. Just please get us help. And so he realizes that there's two of us in the car. He calls, and then the people come. And like I said, he wasn't responsive, but in that time, I had kind of shaken him, and I checked, and he had a faint pulse in his neck.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, like, hurry up. Like, you guys need to hurry. This is, like, we need help. Don't worry about me. Just help him out. So when they get there, to be honest with you, I can't even remember any questions specifically. I just remember lights and people coming, and they're trying to pull me out. No. Just go. Like, go and help him.
It said that we have 1 minute left.
Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to call you right back.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay, bye.
The caller has hung up.